I recently finished playing through BinaryStar Infinity. If you're here without having seen my playthrough and have no idea what's going on, that's fine. This video shares my thoughts about the game, so if you're here for that or just want to hear my voice, then stick around. Now, BinaryStar was fun. I love space shooters, and that's why this is a 10 out of 10 for me. But seriously, every time I boot one up, I feel like you're immediately given the theme player versus everything. I mean, the game starts and all of a sudden, you just gotta kill the aliens. In the final episode, I mentioned Namco Museum's Galaga arrangement and want to turn that into a discussion about this game, in comparison to other titles that come to my brain. But first, I guess it'd be nice for you to know a little bit about the game. You play through 8 levels as one of the silent protagonists, noted as one of the best pilots of the BinaryStar Force. Each level has a boss at the end, and if unlike me, you don't get hit a lot on the way to them, you can fight them with some beefy power-ups. You got lasers, a shotgun, more bullets, friend orbs. But you want to hear a little secret? The laser decimates bosses. I feel the creator of the game, Cedric Ricky, intended for this game to be a side-scroller for 2 reasons. One, this game was made for the Switch, so a vertical scroller leaves you with a smaller field of view, if you're playing handheld. Second, any game that uses parallaxing seems to be sexier in a side-scroller, which is a method common in these types of games. Parallaxing is a scrolling effect that takes advantage of layering in order to achieve a pseudo 3D vibe. One example I like comes from an Xbox arcade game, Heavy Weapon.
Prepare for battle.
Anyways, I like this effect. It's cool and immerses me. Since I've mentioned Heavy Weapon, I thought about how the level names pop up at the start of each level. This might fly over other players, but I like when games do this and how the name of the level gives narrative insight. Like Mission 1, assessing the threat. The intro cinematic tells you to do this, and that's your initiative. For people who skip cutscenes, you don't even need the cinematic to understand that assessing the threat is a first level thing, whereas the title of the last level, Into the Den, I mean, you're probably approaching an ending. I like when games implement ways of telling a story like this. It branches off from what I see commonly in storytelling, dialogue and cinematics. When I can just jump into the game and get an idea of what's going on through little insights like I mentioned, it paints a general picture and leaves players with some wiggle room for their crazy theories.
What if the sentient Lice A1 boss is actually just a giant meatball? Then we could eat him with a giant fork.
Before you realize you're hungry, I want to talk about the color scheme. Grayscale complemented with another color is a cool effect when used correctly. For this game, it lays perspective as to what's important, like your player, the things you want to shoot, the things you don't want to get hit by, which is all pretty important. As for aesthetics, I've always perceived this color scheme to be tough looking. Take Mad World for example. It also uses this scheme, and it creates an aggressive atmosphere. On a complete side note, Mad World's music slaps. Which, speaking of music, the tracks for BinaryStar really suit what you're doing throughout the game. If you're progressing through a level en route to the boss, the track is steadfast with a spacey synth lead to subtly guide you towards the boss. Then when you make it to the boss, the drums go full 4 on the floor with your claps on the 2nd and 4th beats. The steady lead becomes this progressive sequence of sustains, some minor accidentals in there to give you this feeling of dread or suspense. There's also these hiccups in the lead where it'll do this high-pitched growl, which sounds intense. The final boss presents a twist though, where the theme is similar in the way you progress through the level, rather than fight the boss. Except this time there's a Vox chorus to accompany that synth lead and drum mix. All of a sudden, you know you're at the end. You're given no health bar to show your progress, and you are just shooting it until it dies. And that's the story mode. After that, you can play survival mode, which is what I did for a good portion of this video's footage. As time increases, the waves of enemies can get pretty large. However, not getting hit allows you to develop a pretty ridiculous arsenal yourself. You can also play the game with a second player, adding to the overall chaos. If my spiel piqued your interest, I'd give this game a run. I'm really happy this is a game I started off with, and upon posting my first episode, had received a comment from the creator anticipating the playthrough videos. I'll be doing an Afterthoughts video upon completion of each game in the Pixel Playthrough series. If you like spaceship games as much as me, there's nothing stopping you from saving another world. Have a good one.